Call this meeting to order of the Polk County Board of Commissioners. Today is Tuesday, March 17th. Please join me for the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Next up on the agenda is an opportunity for the public to provide comments to the board. Anybody like to do that at this time? Seeing none, looking for approval of the agenda.
So moved.
Second, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye, motion carries. Next up is approval of minutes.
So moved.
Second, all those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Aye, motion carries. All right, next up is Star Recognition Award. This is an opportunity for the board to recognize outstanding achievement by county employees. Today we have Josh Hersberg. Thank you for being here. And thank you, Todd, for nominating Josh. I'm going to read the nomination form, and then Nicole has a wonderful basket for you, and you could have an opportunity to speak to the board, the public. You have a half hour. If you'd like to use it, however you'd like to use it. So Josh Hersberg has been with the county for 20 years next year. He started as a heavy equipment operator, then moved to the survey department in 2017. He worked studiously and completed the required education to become a licensed surveyor and was appointed as survey crew chief in 2023. Josh was recently recognized by the Oregon Association of County Engineers and Surveyors for their Legislative Advocacy Award for his work and testimony on House Bill 3175, the Public Land Corner Fee Modernization Bill, which was passed this year and takes effect January 1st. The bill removes the statutory $10 cap that was set in place 40 years ago and empowers county commissioners to set fees based on local needs for establishing, reestablishing, and maintaining public land survey corners, ensuring accurate land management and property lines for Oregon residents. So on behalf of the board, we are excited to recognize Josh for the Star Recognition Award. Thanks for all you do, Josh. Please come forward. Grab a basket, shake some hands.
All right. I'd just like to say thank you for the opportunities I've been given to work here at Polk County, and it's been a great place to work, so thank you.
Thanks for your work, Josh.
Come around, shake all of our hands.
Thanks, Josh.
Yeah, good job on the speech. Not many take us up on that.
Thanks.
Oh, there's now a customary photograph.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah,
Oh, gotcha.
With the flag.
I think Lau wanted. Mr.
Hopefully this feels like an award and not a punishment.
I'm gonna do both, actually. I thought about that.
Good.
Josh, just want to tell you congratulations. Great job and thank you for the work you do.
A little bit. There you go. 1, 2, 3. Okay. You want to take a picture under the TV with Commissioner Moorhurst? Is that
I
weird?
think sure.
Oh, where do you
Turn this
go?
camera off.
I think that's your answer.
Yeah, I got good pictures. Try and Photoshop these.
Thanks again, Josh and crew. Appreciate everything you do.
Thanks, Josh.
All right, since we have Mr. Whitaker here, we have the AR Ford road maintenance options.
Morning, Commissioners.
Morning.
So several years ago, and many years ago, probably 13 years ago, when we were out paving the Rock Creek Hideout area in Grand Ronde, we elected not to pave the back end of AR Ford. It was about a quarter mile of dead end road that served one resident and some timberland. And said that'll get, we'll put that on a proposed downgrade list. And that didn't happen. And so we're back here. It's time that, something needs to be done to that road. Either we're going to decide to keep it as a paved road in the county road system because it serves the timber industry up there, or we decide to downgrade that to a public use road, in which case we would probably convert it to gravel. We don't want to convert it to gravel and keep it in the county road system, because then we would have to take a grader basically from Sawtail Road at the intersection of 22 and 18, that 6 or 7 miles additional travel on Highway 22 or 18 just to get to that point. It's a long ways to take a grader on a state highway. And so we wouldn't propose keeping that in the county road system. If you wanted to return it to gravel, and then we would recommend a downgrade. So here to get your opinions on what you want to do. Stephen's got some more details on the scope and cost of each of those options for you.
Morning, Commissioners. Yeah, so I've kind of put together just some general costs for both of these options, for both the gravel road conversion and an overlay. The road is pretty substantially deteriorated. I estimate it's about 70% that needs to be dug out due to, just heavy use from timber equipment and whatnot. Like Todd said, there's only one resident that this currently serves. But with that, we're seeing some costs, and a lot of these prices are kind of a combination of ODOT prices, also stuff that we've seen historically through some fairly recent projects. But for our gravel road conversion, if we were to go out to bid, I estimate that's going to be approximately $200,000 to convert that back to gravel road. Now, one thing that I would like to mention is if that gravel road conversion is the option that we're going to pursue, I do think that our in-house county forces could do this for substantially cheaper. I would estimate it'd be about half that, about $100,000, and maybe even some other savings potentially. But to go in and do an overlay, it's not just as simple as putting more asphalt down over the existing surface. There's, again, some substantial dig outs that need to happen. And again, that number doesn't change in terms of that 70%. We're still going to have to attack that. If we're going to put asphalt on it, certainly we want to make sure the subgrade is suitable. So the cost for basically a full depth rebuild on that road for that approximate 1,300 lineal feet is almost $550,000 to pave that. That would be going back with 6 inches of asphalt. Because of the timber route that this is, it kind of requires that, maybe a little bit higher use of, or a little bit thicker section of asphalt. So with those numbers that I've just presented to you, I guess if there's any questions that the board might have, those are kind of our options right now. But again, I do want to say that these numbers are kind of a combination of recent projects that we've had, plus what we've seen with prices happening from ODOT's projects. And I have gone through and compared quantities to make sure I'm not comparing to projects that are much larger or much smaller, that I'm trying to get kind of an apples to apples comparison here. But we would expect that these numbers are maybe on the high side of what we would expect to get from contractors. But that's what I have to present to you today.
Not enough information. So need to see the map, need to see the, where all the road is, and maybe some photographs. I'm naturally going to be opposed to this kind of thing because it is a haul route. And so again, we've had this statement that we're going to maintain the best we can over the years. Any of our industrial farm to market, forest to market roads best we possibly can. So I'm not interested in abandoning that road. So you want to convert it to gravel, that's fine, but I guess that's the greater route. And I know we've been making a big statement during my tenure about we're going to try to, avoid that and find ways to not run graders to the outside corners of the county. I appreciate that. I'm sensitive to the costs, but I'm going to want to know truck numbers, for example. How many log trucks are actually using that road? Give me a 5-year number. What's the impact to the marketplace going to look like when we abandon that road? because that's what we're doing. And then who's going to maintain it after we don't maintain it anymore?
Yeah, so I can answer that. The timber company that is served by this road is Miami. And we've reached out to them and talked to them about what their preferences are. And obviously they prefer it to stay paved, to their gate. And they said if we were to downgrade it, they would prefer that we return it to gravel so that they can maintain it. So it would be theirs to maintain, and they understand that.
What about the one property owner?
The property owner that we've spoke to said he doesn't care if it gets returned to a gravel road. Yes, now that's been years, so I would
Likely be an indicator he also doesn't care about doing the maintenance either.
Yeah,
Yeah,
correct.
yeah.
Correct. I need to refresh that opinion because I think that's been 5 years ago when he said that.
Probably good to engage again.
Yeah.
And I imagine if Miami were to take over, they may put larger diameter rock in there for their vehicles. I don't know
Yeah.
if it'd be compatible with the residents there, single residents, but
Yeah,
it'd be good to kind of find out.
that wouldn't surprise me that the probably typical 1.5 inches is as small as they go.
Right.
Is Miami actually a property owner up there, or are they just a contractor?
I don't know.
Because I'd want to know also from any other property owners that are having contractors cut and haul, their perspective on this. Again, we've been maintaining it because it's a haul road. That's why we've been doing it over the years. And so I don't want to abandon that without doing our due diligence for that reason. And then finally, again, I know you do this, but what are the outcomes, possible outcomes of applying for FLAP grant for maintenance of that road? I mean, as long as, because I don't know what our traffic count looks like there for log trucks
I
and
don't-
maintenance trucks, but
I don't believe there's any federal lands up there. So if that's the case, that
Okay.
flap is federal lands access. So I don't think it would be eligible for that.
gotcha.
Too far west from the federal lands, right?
Yeah, I could be wrong about that. I'd have to do some research and see where all those roads go and see if there's any federal lands access by that. It's a Miami gate at the end of the road, so we just assume that's the primary landholder up there.
Yeah, it has to be.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, if BLM were involved in that, Darren's got a question or statement.
Miami is a landowner up there. Josh has done a fair amount of work in that region, and also Hancock is a landowner. They haul a fair amount of logs out of that area. I think Miami is probably the primary landowner that uses that.
Yeah, and honestly, to me, that is the key to it. If those forest landowners say, look, we're used to this, we deal with this all the time, go ahead, do what you got to do the downgrade, which it's a shame we got to spend that kind of money just to hand it to somebody else, but we're used to that. If they're fine with that, then they should attest to that. And then I would be too. So again, otherwise we're just maintaining a long driveway. So that's my only issue, is just making sure that we're consistent in our support for access roads for timber supply. Is there any practical way to get counts for traffic, log traffic, or?
I would have to ask them what their harvest has been.
Suppose if they protested,
Yeah,
well, tell us how much you use it.
yeah. Yeah, I think hopefully they could give us a reasonable estimate of, what kind of volume they've taken out of there and what kind of trip generation that would be. And ask that.
Any questions, Commissioner Morris? Comments?
I'm good.
Okay, thanks. Maybe just a couple of those questions answered, then maybe also run by what gravel condition or diameter of that rock for that resident too, just so they're aware. I agree with Craig. If all parties are in favor, we should probably go the gravel, convert it to gravel route. Appreciate you starting.
Well, especially given especially given that they don't care, the haulers don't care. You know, whether it's asphalt or gravel, it makes no sense to go spend $500,000+,
No.
you know, to dress it up. They're just gonna keep pounding it, so, yeah.
Yeah.
But I think that is the ticket, is that they understand, it's like, we're not grading it. We're not hauling more rock in here. And then I guess the next steps would be an evolution of, you know, to the public access road, right? Is that the right one?
Yes.
That means no maintenance. So as long as they get a communication in that regard and affirm it, makes perfect sense. Yeah.
All right.
Okay.
Good.
All right, thank you.
Thank you.
All right, next up, we have a West Valley Housing Authority Commissioner interview. Mr. Matt Smucker, please come forward.
Morning, Commissioners.
Good morning, and thank you for submitting your application materials. Apologies, it took a little while to schedule the interview. I appreciate your interest. So we have a set of kind of prescripted questions we ask all applicants for this particular position, and we'll just sort of take turns here asking them. I'll go ahead and start us off. Could you please describe your volunteer involvement and experience and community activities you have participated in and any leadership roles you have served in those activities?
Yeah,
Good question.
how far back do you want to go?
Up to you.
Okay, sounds good. Have been a resident of Polk County now over half my life. And have been involved in our local church, Community Life Church in Monmouth, as a staff role, but also volunteering quite a bit, now in a completely volunteer role. And helping with youth sports, with our kids being in school. We have three school-age kids. Also, back in 2018, helped start the Polk County Warming Centers, which is kind of in line in my story to where, you know, kind of what led me to want to apply for this role with the Housing Authority. Just seeing the need for housing among those who are unsheltered in rural Polk County. So I was involved with the Polk County Warming Centers from 2018 until this last year, 7 winters. And then, yeah, beyond that, just various, you know, other school related volunteer things, some with the university and some with the city as well, kind of some, you know, city beautification things, or, you know, MLK service days and things like that. So.
Thanks.
Okay, so what special skills or talents would you bring as a new commissioner to the Housing Authority Board?
So my professional role right now, my day job is as chaplain with Church of the Park, Polk County Shelters. We have a shelter in Monmouth and a small shelter for families here in Dallas. And so I see this as kind of part of that continuum of serving those who are coming out of homelessness into shelter. And then, you know, I definitely see the need in that role for, you know, for more housing stock, more development, but also for just good management of the, you know, Section 8 and public housing. Not to suggest that that's not being managed well now, but would see, you know, my role as a board member as somebody who can kind of help keep the guardrails there and accountability for managing those programs to see it be successful here, serving those who are in need of affordable housing and the supports that go along with that.
Okay, what do you see as the role of the Housing Authority Board in relation to the West Valley Housing Authority staff and management? And then in relation to Polk County and its Board of Commissioners? Yeah.
Good question. I'm still learning kind of the hierarchy and how things are put together. But from the board meeting that I attended last month, I see there being a relational aspect of getting to know the staff and their various roles in supporting the Housing Authority here. Also, just being able to help make decisions where that's necessary as a board member, as required by HUD or by by law, and just helping them to be successful in their professional capacity as people who are experienced in the field and doing this work day in and day out. As a board member, that I would not understand that to be my role as a regular full-time thing, but to be able to support them so that they could be as successful as they can be in running the program and ultimately serving our fellow citizens here in Polk County.
Okay, since the Housing Authority has a public mission, you will be expected to represent the citizens of your community in the policy decisions that you participate in making. Are you willing to expand your personal perspective to include those of the greater community as best you can? How would you make sure that you represent the greater community interest in the decisions you make? My experience here in Polk County has been mostly rural. So I see, West Salem is also part of our county, and so I would like to grow in just my understanding of the needs of West Salem in particular, as part of the scope of service for the Housing Authority. I have some modules that I've been looking at from HUD. From the federal level, just to understand the role of a board member. They have some presentations that outline roles and responsibilities nationwide that then translate here to our local board as well, and continue just to keep pulse on housing needs. That's become really a focus professionally for me, but also personally, just to see our housing needs met here in Polk County, so that everyone would be housed stably. I personally don't believe in permanent housing, although that is the language of the federal government, because I don't think any of us have permanent housing. My house could be on fire right now. But I do believe, I hope that's not the case, but I do believe in stable housing. And I think we can, take steps towards that and make sure that all of our fellow citizens have stable housing in this community.
Two more questions. A primary tenet of the agency's mission is to provide safe, decent, and affordable housing opportunities for community citizens with special needs such as low-income families and elderly or disabled individuals. How best do you envision the Housing Authority using its assets, both dollars and personnel, to provide increased housing opportunities for citizens of this community? And what do you see as other unmet housing needs of the community that the Housing Authority should consider as a priority for its resources?
So one example that came up at the last Housing Authority Board meeting that I was able to attend was the need to do some work on the elevator of the tower, which is the public housing unit near here, and make sure that that's up to current standards and codes. And sounds like there was a resident who was stuck in there for several hours recently, and so. Accessibility is really important for those with mobility needs. And so making sure that there is funding and there's, plans in place to address the need to fix that elevator in particular. But beyond that, for those who are, older adults, for those with disabilities or special needs for access, I think we should prioritize, whether it's a bigger complex that needs an elevator, we should definitely prioritize, accessibility in that form, or whether it's, single level units that provide access on ground level without other accommodations. And then in general, as far as just housing, variety in our communities, I know from our experience trying to, come alongside our residents in shelter to get them into longer term housing. Smaller units, 1 bedrooms and studios are definitely at a premium in Polk County. And for one example, without sharing details of these residents, but we had two who were qualified for assistance for housing. And we were helping them apply separately for 1-bedroom or studio apartments. Was really difficult after about 2 months for each of them. Could not really find anything that was affordable to them in that range. And so they were getting along with each other and were able to pool their resources together and actually find a 2-bedroom apartment that was much more readily available, met their combined resources, and were able to move in there. So that's just to illustrate the need for smaller units. And I think that would be something that I would want to help focus on for the Housing Authority as well.
Thank you.
Last question. I'm going to deviate from this written question because it's silly. And same basis, but I'm going to ask you a few questions specific to the last question. So first of all, are you aware of the workload expected by board members?
So what I was briefed on from the current chair of the board there, Paul Helmalian, said it could kind of be as much as I would want to put into it. Minimum would be attending the monthly meetings, whether in person or virtually. And then, beyond that, there's a lot of in-between support that, could be as much as I would have time to contribute to. Knowing myself, I know I would want to do more than just the monthly hour, and support in other ways as my, schedule and capacity allows.
Okay, so you're aware of the homework, the reading material, policy, information, et cetera.
Yes.
Have you attended meetings?
I've attended just one so far last month.
Okay. And do you have any idea of the financial position of the Housing Authority?
Just what was reported in that meeting. So I have that packet. As far as seems like they are doing pretty well, have some reserves that they're considering, using in, maybe some development projects, which is exciting. I think it's something that's been, my understanding is that development piece has been on hold for quite a few years now. And so it would be something I would love to see leveraged and utilized, whether in, public-private partnerships, whatever makes sense there to just leverage those resources. I know my experience in the nonprofit, world here in Polk County has been that we have to scratch and, pull for every resource that we can get here from the bigger cities and bigger communities. And so I would want to see, us continue receiving as many resources as we can from the federal government in particular, related to, HUD, and make sure that we're in, good standing to continue receiving those resources and build that capacity, because our population does continue to grow. And so our housing needs will continue to grow as well.
Yeah. Thank you.
Yeah.
All right. Well, that concludes the interview. Do you have any questions for us or comments?
No. I guess what's the next step, or when does the decision happen?
Yeah. Well, we'll review and we'll get back to you soon. Appreciate it, Matt.
Great. Thank you so much.
Take care.
Yeah.
All right. Are there any non-listed items to address?
No, sir.
No, sir.
All right. Seeing no more business before the board, we will adjourn. Thank you.